punch cadence is one of the most underrated aspects of boxing, especially as it pertains to fighters that have very good hand speed, fast fighters. Because one problem that fast fighters have is that a lot of them, don't vary the cadence of their shots, and they don't vary the speed of their shots as well, a lot of them. How that can be a problem is when you're fighting a very good opponent, an opponent with good timing, and especially when you're fighting at a higher level, like your hand speed can be neutralized if you don't vary a punch cadence and if you don't vary the speed of your shots. So that's why it's very, very important to do that. And if I give examples of fighters that are very fast but don't vary their cadence, their punch cadence, an example is Amir Khan, for example. He throws a lot of time when he throws combinations, he throws at the same rhythm and he throws at the same cadence. And what do I mean when I say punch cadence? I mean punch cadence, it mainly refers to the time between each punch in your combination. So for example, I'm gonna make a tapping sound so you guys understand what I'm saying a little bit more. If each sound I make represents the punch in a combination. So if it's a 4-punch combination, a certain cadence could be this. That's a certain cadence for a 4-punch combination. Whereas what Amir Khan will do, he'll throw every punch in the combination that he throws as fast as he can. And he won't vary the time within each punch. So he'll throw every punch. Let's say he's throwing a 4-punch combination. He'll throw every punch like this. Whereas sometimes what he should do is vary the time within each punch of that combo. So what he should do sometimes is this. Do you know what I mean? So that's an example of varying a punch cadence. You see how the time within each punch in that combination was different. That's something that Amir Khan, if Amir Khan did that more in his career, I think he would have been. He's not as fast now as he's older. He's over the hill now, but I think he would have been a little bit harder to time when he fought at a higher level. Don't get it twisted. He may still have been knocked out in a lot of fights because obviously his defense wasn't great, his chin wasn't great. But I think he would have been more difficult to time if he had implemented those techniques into his game. And it's somewhat similar with Gary Russell Jr. So it's somewhat similar with him. I haven't seen too much of Gary Russell Jr. So I can't really speak. I can speak about him, but obviously not too much. I haven't seen as much of him as I've seen of Amir Khan. I've only seen a few fights of Gary Russell, but I see a somewhat similar thing with him as well. He throws every punch the same speed. He throws every punch at the same speed. He doesn't vary the time within each punch in his combinations. So that's one thing that they both I think should have worked on especially when they were in their athletic peak, when they were a lot faster. But especially with Amir Khan, like he throws every punch as fast as he can. For one, he doesn't vary the speed of the individual punches, and for two, he doesn't vary the punch cadence. Someone who does vary the punch cadence very, very well, is one subtle thing that he does very, very well is Boots Ennis. Like he varies the punch cadence a lot of times, and he's a very, very fast fighter, tremendous hand speed. But if we look at as the fight goes on, as the fight progresses, in a lot of his fights, he doesn't throw. The time he spends within each punch, the time within each punch of the combination, it varies. So, for example, some combinations, let's say he's throwing a 3-punch combination. Some 3-punch combinations will be like this, really, really fast like this. Whereas some of them will be like this. You see the difference? So, and I saw that in the Lipinets fight in one of the rounds. Well, in a few of the rounds in Lipinets fight. So, it varied the speed of the punches and the combinations and the speed of his punches in general, but it also vary the time within each punch of the combination. So that's just one thing that I think more fast fighters need to do. Lomachenko does it really well as well. He varies the time spent within each punch in the combination, i.e. punch cadence. Now that's one thing he does very well as well, Lomachenko, and he also varies the speed of his shots. And when you do that, it just makes your offense more unpredictable. It makes it harder for fighters to time you as well, and it just makes you overall more accurate. Yeah, that's it for this video. That's really what I wanted to talk about in this video. Punch cadence and varying the speed of your punches in general.